Hello there guys, Francis Gray here, and today I've got a new model kit to show you all, or model diorama if you like. This is the infamous iconic horror character known as Chucky, or Chucky the Killer Doll, made famous by the 1980 cult classic movies Child's Play. The series later went on to like other side spin-off movies like The Bride of Chucky and The Seed of Chucky and The Cult of Chucky and stuff like that, etc. But I think everybody knows the Chucky doll, or the good guy's doll, from the movies. This is a resin kit. It originally was only, I think there was only 10 made worldwide. This was actually number 10. This was the last one that was made. I'm not too sure of the company that of the company that produced it, or the person that produced it or made it. All I know is that there was 10 made and this was number 10. It is an original. I got this from a private seller who managed to get the last one. Cost me a pretty penny, but I've decided to collect horror, so I decided to start with a rare kit. Yeah, it comes in 5 pieces, which is basically the main body, the 2 hands with knives. They're like one part, one part, one part. And then you got like a flat resin base, and then just like a logo that just says "Wanna Play." All looks cool, all looks great as is, but with me starting a new collection, I wanted to basically make them all universally more or less like the same bases, or the same style bases, obviously just cut to fit in the segments of the display cabinet that would fit into. So yeah, so basically what I'm doing is I'm basically getting sheets of wood and then cutting them to shape, and then routering the same edge going around. So it's basically a routed square, and then basically a back piece of wood screwed in via this part here, and same again, same routed edge going around, and then basically some kind of backdrop. So either like a printed out picture, a printed out photograph, or like completely new painted scenery or artwork, I suppose. So yeah, so expect future other horror icons or monsters to come in a similar fashion. This is the first one that I've managed to finish. So yeah, so I decided to obviously create a new base. So the idea was I wanted to make this look like it was set in like a child's bedroom. So in the first film, the main kid is basically into good guy dolls. It's basically a famous line of a character. I suppose like the 1980s version of like Bob the Builder or something like that. So yeah, so basically in that film, basically good guys dolls is like more or less everywhere. Like good guy dolls, wallpaper, bedding, you know, basically anything. Basically companies selling everything that they can to a kid. So yeah, so I decided to I found an original design, I believe, for actual good guy wallpaper, or it was an attempt at good guy wallpaper, but it didn't line up perfectly with the other, like for a repeating pattern. So what I did was I basically put it into Photoshop, tinkered around with it a little bit, and then made it so it was like a printable sheet that overlapped. Printed that off with just normal A4 white paper, and then basically PVA glued it to the back of the base, and then I scored with a scalpel 2 centre lines. So one here, so kind of like the rule of thirds, I suppose. So it mimics wallpaper, or wallpaper that's been lined up. Turned out pretty good. The only negative was there was a few wrinkles here and there that you can see when pointed out. I would have preferred not to have had them, but I suppose you can get them in real wallpaper. So the way I'm seeing it is basically somebody was a bad wallpaperer for the kids' as a bedroom. So yeah, so blue felt for the base. I went with blue to basically complement Chucky's basically Good Guy Doll's overall look. So obviously you got the wallpaper, and then this is to represent his overalls, I suppose. Getting to the figure itself, basically just started off with a grey prime, laid base coat colours, building them up. I think I started from the shoes, working up. The main nightmare with this was the multiple colours in his top. So it's a repeating pattern. There's 6 colours, so it goes basically from like red on his shoulder, dark blue, green, light blue, grey, and then a pink, and then it repeats to red again. Now each one of these strips has to have 2 white lines running through it. So that took me a long time to paint, because obviously as the top creases up around the around where the arms finish, obviously it's crazy pattern there. So yeah, it took me a long time to make that. It also took me quite a while to make these little individual little logos and little Good Guy Doll artwork. It goes all the way around. I did paint them on the back as well, but unfortunately you can't see that because now there is screwed to the base. How I screwed them to the base was basically 2 raw plugs. I drilled 2 holes in his feet. Took me time with that. You don't want to rush that. Put 2 raw plugs in there. Added a bit of super glue to secure them. Left it to dry, and then drilled 2 matching holes underneath. Screwed 2 long screws up into his feet. He's not going anywhere. And then I basically sanded. I used some wood filler to fill over the screw heads. Now it's important that you get the screw heads to bury up into the base, because you don't want like it scratching your glass in your cabinet or like a bit raised up and a bit wonky. So yeah, so they're housed up into the base, and then I used wood filler to fill over the holes, sanded it down, then added PVA glue over, and then added some red felt for the base. So getting back to the actual diorama of the bedroom, so I found these child blocks. I managed to find some of them from like a charity shop that's like in town. They were all random, and I managed to luckily be able to spell out Chucky. So I thought, that's perfect. I lined them up, basically filled out the front, because originally I was going to have Chucky more centre forward, and I was going to put some like smaller like dolls in the background, like a teddy bear or maybe a ripped up teddy bear or something like that. But the idea just wasn't really working for me. But when I found these blocks and I realised I could make the word Chucky, I thought that was fantastic. So I basically put Chucky further back on the base, which meant I needed to drill more holes and fill in the other ones. Yeah, so I laid them all out, fit perfectly. But I was thinking, what can I do for a paint job? I base coated them all white from a white primer, and I was thinking, like, what colours do I do? Blue and yellow each, but that'll be too similar. Most kids in the bedroom wouldn't have like Good Guy Doll actual blocks; they would just be random blocks. So same again. I was thinking about colours, and I thought, well, hang on a minute. He has 6 colours on his top that repeat. So obviously we've got the red, dark blue, green. So I thought that will work perfect. So basically I just recreated the same pattern that's on his top. So it's kind of like a subliminal messaging, I suppose, that connects those to the doll itself. So yes, that was a nice little Easter egg, a nice little twist there that I thought worked pretty well. And the only other thing to talk about that was added was these crayons. They're not actually crayons, they're actually erasers. There was a pack of 3. I only needed 2, so I'll give the other one to me for my daughter so she can put in a pencil case. So yeah, so basically they're just chunky crayons that'll never melt, never go off, never discolour the fabric or anything like that. So yeah, but to look at them, they look like real crayons. So yeah, that's basically it really. There's nothing interesting on the back. It's just a flat back base, because obviously it's going to get pushed up to the back of the cabinet. You're not going to see anything. But besides that, I'm really happy with the way that this turned out. I think it's a nice first, you know, part of a new collection. So I'll have a quick zoom in. Apologies for any like shaky cam or anything like that. So you can see there's quite a bit of detail in Chucky's face. I added flesh tones, but I didn't want to go too over the top with flesh tones because I wanted it to mimic like a manufactured doll. Obviously he's been beat up throughout the films, quite a lot of scarage there. I think the most fun was painting the eyes, or painting this damaged, exposed flesh part of the eyes. That was pretty cool. The jumper, absolute nightmare. Really wouldn't want to paint another one of those. Yeah. And then getting down to his overalls, as you can see all these like little childlike drawings and patterns. They do change from film to film, so I did a basically an all-rounded, just general selection. And then obviously the shoes. I did the laces in mushroom grey to stand out differently from the white, so they actually look a bit more like laces rather than just white. Yep, and then just get into the Chucky blocks. So yeah, so that's about it really. Nothing else much to talk about. Hope you like this quick look at. Please don't forget to click the like button and share on Facebook and Twitter, because it helps new people find my channel, which I'm always appreciative of. Thank you very much. Please don't forget to subscribe for future model kit builds, and especially if you're into horror and you want to see other models built in the same collection style. And yeah, don't forget to check out other past videos of other builds and modelling tips and stuff like that. And yeah, nothing else to say but thank you for watching, and see you next time. Thank you very much, and goodbye.